A spectre is haunting Australia, Europe, Africa, the Americas, and Asia. The spectre of writing differently. All the powers of the old world have entered into a holy alliance to exorcise the spectre. Vice-chancellors and administrators, editors and media, National Research Agency and funders. The academic research community is becoming increasingly aware of the fact that, due to a massive and consolidated global management policy of academia, we are more and more writing for the statistics or metrics and less for the readers. Our writing has become formulaic and devoid of meaning, as Mats Alvesson, Janis Gabriel, and Roland Paulsson warn us. This is a consequence of the parametrization and effectivization of academic work, bringing in linear output and linear thinking, a process which has been lasting for decades and which is now as good as dominant in all parts of the world. Yet recently, there is a strong and vibrant community reaction to this destructive trend, a new movement of writing differently, which is rapidly gaining momentum. A special issue of Management Learning, co-edited by Sarah Gilmore, Nancy Harding, Jenny Helene, and Alison Pullen in 2019 has gained much interest and is something of a manifesto for many academic authors and readers. The roots of the movement are to be found in feminist writing, which always has been drawing attention to the non-linear and personal. One of the founding mothers, Heather Hupfel, used to say that the social, the organizational, the political is always personal, and a social science that does not resonate with the personal is meaningless. More recently, Alison Pullen and Carl Rhodes have been advocating dirty writing, an engagement with alterity pointing to a writing that approaches the border of purity and impurity, and whose difference and affect has not been so totally repressed by logic, rationality, linearity, and coherence. To write differently, an author needs to embrace alterity and complexity, and to reject reductionism. It is a kind of writing that involves the personal and the experiential, and that is intended to be read by the yet unknown other, the reader. Writing differently is about much more than just writing. It embraces reading differently, reviewing differently, editing differently, and yes, teaching differently. The students today are embracing these ideas with passion and involvement. My students think complex thoughts, read complicated texts, and write long, thoughtful essays and beautiful short poems. I have heard from colleagues from many countries about their students' current work bursting forth and blossoming like plants in spring. The movement is still marginal, but it is such good news, and it carries a liberating, meaningful, and truthful energy. There are research communities and journals more or less explicitly joining it already, with a flagship gender work and organization, and also culture and organization, management learning, and organization, to name just a few in my own discipline. There are texts written and read, both articles and books, addressing the movement itself as well as following its main principles. To write beautifully, to consciously blend genres, to use imaginative expression, to inspire and be inspired, to be conscious and speak with consciousness, to be kind, to be truthful. Write to be read. Read to learn, to understand. The Writing Differently movement is here, and it is already making a difference.